next one is RSS laws. So these are connected to the blogging, and there is some legal issues here which are interesting, and we'll go through those. Biggest problem with RSS feeds is that there can be up to three parties involved. You've got the content creator, the RSS feed creator, and the publishing website. They could all be the same person, or it could be two people who have covered two aspects, or it could be one person doing it all. In some countries, the RSS feed, the person publishing the RSS feed on a website might not have any legal responsibility, but there is a case where a judge has said that they might do, and I'll cover that in a second. But in the EU, website owners have been found responsible for what third parties, i.e. the content creator, has published, and they are then promoting through the RSS feed. And that's one of the problems that you get with the RSS feed legal issues. So what are some of the laws around the RSS feeds? Very specific, very similar to the copyright infringement that you get on websites. You cannot use images for your own purposes. So an image might appear on your RSS feed, but you can't then copy it and publish it somewhere else on your website. You cannot claim ownership or public domain authority over the content. So that news story is shared. It's not your news story, it's still someone else's. And commercial use of the images or text is forbidden. Very, very simple. And then this last one is a little bit of a warning. You might be held liable for content inside the RSS feed. And for this, there are two cases. In France, 3 websites were held liable and forced to pay compensation when an RSS feed they used published morally objectionable content. And this was about 10 years ago. And I can't remember what the content was. It was a religious matter. And all 3 websites had to pay hefty fines. One of them went bankrupt, and the other 2 struggled quite a bit. They all kind of cut their RSS feeds, but it wasn't content that they produced. It was content that was produced by someone else, and the RSS feed was created by someone else, and they just used it, and they were all found liable by a French court that because they had publicized the RSS feed and made it active for everyone, made it readable for everyone, that they were liable for content. Now, in the UK, it's a little bit more ambiguous. One judgment has said that you're not responsible, but then a judge has said that there is a law that could potentially apply to RSS feeds, and this is a common law, states that a person who's standing next to a placard, so a sign next to the road, someone with a piece of card or a written message, whether they wrote it or not, is still liable for the contents of the message if they are, by their action of standing near the message, drawing attention to the message from others in the area. So you imagine someone standing by the road next to a card that says something that's very offensive. They're saying that that person is liable for that message if people are looking at the message because they're standing there, whether they wrote it or not. And this judge has said that that could apply to RSS feeds if someone was to take them to court. So it's an interesting one to think about when you're using RSS feeds, of whether you can trust the content that is being published on it. So how to stay compliant? Use or create an RSS feed that you control. That's one of the best ways to do it, probably. Never use the content published in an RSS feed. Again, that, as we said before, that breaches the rules around copyright infringement. And if you use a third-party RSS feed, check the terms and conditions of the feed. There are some that will restrict your use, so you can't have it on your homepage or you can't have it on a general blog page. And especially, a lot of them say that you can't make money off the RSS feeds, which is very important. And I really don't recommend that you even attempt to put a paywall behind and in front of an RSS feed. It's just not worth it.